When you ask any automotive enthusiast to visualize the defining monsters of the American muscle car golden era, the late 1960s to the early 1970s, a predictable roster of iconic nameplates immediately dominates the conversation. Mentally, we instantly conjure images of the sinister Dodge Charger, the stripped-down Plymouth Road Runner, the muscular Chevrolet Chevelle SS, and the legendary Pontiac GTO. These vehicles were fast, loud, unapologetically wide, and possessed a menacing street presence that defined a generation of traffic light to traffic light drag racing. They are the undisputed, multi-million-dollar kings of classic American horsepower. Yet, hidden deep in the shadows of Detroit's Big Three, there was another player in the mid-size muscle car space, a car that was just as loud, uniquely engineered, and heavily stylized, but one that history has somehow completely, tragically forgotten. That car is the AMC Rebel. While classic car circles today still celebrate American Motors Corporation for their nimble javelins and the radical two-seat AMX pony cars, the Rebel has slipped almost entirely into automotive obscurity. Mention the name Rebel at a local car meet today, and you will likely be met with blank stares, even from seasoned muscle car purists. But dismissing this car is a massive mistake. The AMC Rebel is not just a footnote. It is one of the most underrated, unique, and charismatic mechanical underdogs of the entire muscle car war. To understand how the AMC Rebel even came to exist, we must first look at the remarkably conservative, straight-laced corporate culture of American Motors Corporation in the early 1960s. While General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler were actively defying corporate bans to stuff the largest, highest displacement V8 engines into lightweight coupes, AMC was marching to a completely different drumbeat. The old management team at AMC strictly, almost religiously, adhered to the Automobile Manufacturers Association's anti-racing resolution. While their competitors treated the racing ban like a minor suggestion, sneaking factory-backed drag racing parts out the back door, AMC rigidly focused on building highly economical, safe, and frankly boring family sedans. They were playing strictly by the rules while the rest of Detroit was starting a horsepower revolution. But by 1967, the financial reality became impossible to ignore. AMC's upper management underwent a massive, radical shakeup. The new executives finally realized a crucial market truth. Young Americans didn't just want a sensible car to haul groceries. They wanted to go blindingly fast. Desperate to capture a slice of the lucrative high-performance youth market, AMC officially threw the rulebook in the trash and decided to make a bold play in the muscle and pony car segments. Built utilizing the four-door AMC Ambassador chassis as its structural foundation, the 1967 AMC Rebel was officially born as the brand's very first true mid-size muscle car offering. When the vehicle debuted for the 1967 model year, it was initially badged as the Rambler Rebel, a nameplate choice that many automotive historians believe actually hurt the car's street credibility out of the gate. Given the Rambler brand's heavy association with Grandma's economy commuter cars. Visually, the Rebel marked a severe, dramatic departure from AMC's traditionally conservative, rounded styling. It featured a heavily squared-off, sharp-edged, aggressive Coke bottle silhouette. In fact, contemporary automotive journalists heavily criticized the Rebel for looking a bit too similar to its rivals, specifically drawing immediate visual comparisons to Chrysler's legendary B-body platforms, such as the Plymouth Road Runner and Dodge GTX. Mechanically, while base model Rebels came equipped with an economical inline-six engine that performance enthusiasts completely ignored, the top-tier muscle version packed AMC's proprietary 343 cubic inch small block V8. Breathing through a 4-barrel carburetor, this power plant turned out a highly respectable 280 horsepower and 365 foot-pounds of torque. While it easily outgunned smaller V8 offerings like Ford's 289 high-output Mustang, it was still vastly outmatched in raw displacement and straight-line speed when lined up against the massive 427 Chevys or 426 Hemi monsters of the era. Strangely, AMC also packed the Rebel with bizarrely advanced safety features for a muscle car, including an energy-absorbing collapsible steering column and a deeply recessed dashboard designed to maximize cabin space during a heavy forward impact. Realizing that the Rambler moniker was actively killing their street cred, AMC completely dropped the name for the 1968 model year, letting the car stand proudly and strictly as the AMC Rebel. The car received a subtle exterior facelift to clean up its front grille and taillight architecture, partially to comply with evolving federal motor vehicle safety standards. But the real corporate investment for 1968 was happening underneath the sheet metal. AMC unleashed two potent new V8 options to cater to performance buyers on different budgets. First was the budget-friendly 290 cubic inch Typhoon V8, pushing out a modest 225 horsepower. But the true star of the lineup was the brand-new high-compression 390 cubic inch big block V8. This potent 390 motor, which was simultaneously being shared with AMC's radical new AMX Sports Coupe, hammered out 315 horsepower and immediately put the Rebel into the legitimate muscle car conversation. After a relatively quiet 1969 model year with minimal aesthetic alterations, AMC went completely all in for 1970. The entire base Rebel lineup received a sweeping exterior redesign, featuring a radically swept-back, fastback-style roofline, a widened rear track, and a completely overhauled engine menu. The old 290 Typhoon was stepped up to a 304 cubic inch V8. The 343 was replaced by a punchy 290 horsepower, 360 cubic inch V8, and the base 390 big block was bumped up to 325 horsepower. AMC was building momentum, but they were secretly planning an ultimate unhinged halo model. Midway through the 1970 model year, American Motors Corporation dropped an absolute thermonuclear bomb on the muscle car establishment. They introduced the ultimate high-performance iteration of the Rebel, boldly named the Machine. Developed as an aggressive, high-profile collaboration between AMC's engineering department and Hearst Performance, the Machine was an unapologetic, hyper-patriotic statement on wheels. The initial batch of 1,000 units rolled off the line sporting a legendary standard factory paint scheme. A stark, brilliant white body wrapped in massive, aggressive red, white, and blue racing stripes. To complete the radical street racer look, AMC bolted on a massive, oversized Ram air grabber hood scoop, featuring a mechanical tachometer intentionally built directly into the rear of the scoop facing the driver. Underneath that massive hood scoop sat a highly specialized, heavily tuned version of AMC's 390 cubic inch V8. Engineers fitted the engine with high-flow cylinder heads, a radical solid lifter camshaft, a heavy-duty upgraded valve train, a redesigned intake manifold, low-restriction exhaust, and a massive 690 cubic feet per minute Motorcraft 4-barrel carburetor. The result was an official factory rating of 340 horsepower and a monumental 430 foot-pounds of torque, making it the most powerful engine AMC had ever produced. This mechanical fury was fed through a heavy-duty Borg-Warner T10 4-speed manual transmission, equipped with a crisp Hurst floor shifter, splitting power to the pavement via a proprietary AMC twin-grip limited-slip differential, spinning 3.54 or 3.91 rear gear sets. In bone-stock factory form, the machine was capable of ripping down the quarter mile in a highly respectable 14.4 seconds. It was fast, but it wasn't quite eclipsing the absolute top-tier muscle cars from Plymouth or Chevy. However, AMC did something incredibly radical for their marketing campaign. They offered a catalog of factory-backed, aftermarket drag racing parts sold directly through AMC dealerships. If you had deep pockets, you could order an aggressive 5-to-1 rear drag gear set and a highly specialized, dealer-installed engine tuning package, known rather questionably as the service kit. This factory kit pushed the 390 big blocks output past 400 horsepower while adding upgraded, stiffened suspension components. With the service kit fully installed, a modified AMC Rebel machine could absolutely obliterate the quarter mile in a blistering 12.7 seconds. To put that insane figure into historical perspective, a 1970 Dodge Charger RT packing a massive 440 Magnum V8 typically crossed the line in about 13.9 seconds. The modified Rebel was an entire 1.2 seconds faster. Ultimately, only about 2,326 total units of the machine were ever produced during its brief, legendary one-year run before the Rebel nameplate was retired forever. Today, due to severe rust issues and heavy fleet scrapping over the decades, seeing a real AMC Rebel on the street, or even at an elite car show, is an absolute rarity. It remains the ultimate analog ugly duckling, a forgotten, fire-breathing masterpiece of pure American muscle history.